Hello, my name is Aaron Campbell. I am the director of the Secret City Improv Festival, and thank you for clicking on our video to hear about our festival. I would like to open with this quote from Del Close. The world is a slightly better place for having improvisation in it than it was before. There's something about it that says something positive about the human spirit, that a bunch of people can get together and by following a few simple traffic rules can create art and can entertain an audience and can thrill and exalt each other. And that is precisely what improv does. So our mission at the Secret City Improv Festival is to produce a world-class improv festival proudly held in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. And our vision is to foster creative collaboration, empowering events and experiences, bringing people everywhere together through improvisational theater, the world's most intuitive way to learn, work, and play. So let's spread good and let's do improv. So why did we choose Oak Ridge? When we started this out in 2020, we looked at locations around East Tennessee because this was going to be a partner festival to the Gatlinburg Improv Festival, which took place in March. Oak Ridge is all about the arts, and it has been because of the people that have lived in Oak Ridge ever since it was founded as part of the Manhattan Project. So it has always embraced the arts, whether it's the ballet or community bands and orchestras, chorale society, playhouse, storytelling, you name it. The arts are a lot of the fabric inside of Oak Ridge. And improv is all about discovery and finding the unknown and walking into it. And that is very much a part of Oak Ridge's history. One thing about Oak Ridge is that it does have a historic theater that is open to be used by just about any group, and that is the Historic Grove Theater. In Oak Ridge, the culture is adopting three major mantras that celebrate Oak Ridge, discover Oak Ridge, and explore Oak Ridge. So that is everything that you have inside of improv. It's celebration, discovery, and exploration. And the Historic Grove Theater has been a wonderful partner for us to be with, and it is our pleasure to be able to showcase this wonderful theater to the entire world. So what will you see in the Secret City Improv Festival? It's a very diverse slate of shows that run from short form improv through long form in both comedic and dramatic and in playback. We try to build this as a very positive experience because that is part of the yes and philosophy inside of improv, which is where you add and collaborate and you work as a team together to find whatever. And it's a very positive environment if you're especially in a comedic improv environment where you get to laugh and relax and enjoy yourself. And that's the beauty of improv, is that you get to have an experience where you get to see a show that you will never see again, and the people on the stage are doing a show that will never be seen again. And then we also have a very big learning and development component with our workshops that are open to anybody in the public to come and take part of. But this year we are doing something that we are incredibly proud of, and that is the Sladen Intensive. Who was Bill Sladen? Bill Sladen was best known as the Animal when he was part of Einstein Simplified before his retirement. He was one of the original members back in 1994. He was just an energetic and wild card performer, and he could make any audience laugh. I believe I'm quoting Paul Simmons from the Einstein Simplified website talking about Bill Sladen. He was not one to mince words. He will talk for days about everything while divulging nothing. If you ever doubt his talent, we dare you to keep a straight face during his heavy artwork. Unfortunately, Bill Sladen passed away from neuroendocrine cancer back in October of 2020, and so we have done something to try to memorialize one of the people that brought improv to East Tennessee. Bill Sladen was a CPA. He was also a well-respected and intellectual man, and he was somebody that respected the value of good education. So in doing this, we are doing the Sladen Intensive because we are focusing our attention on new performers. So the goal of this is to facilitate a fun and immersive learning intensive that leads to a live performance by area high school students all in one day. This will be led by Oak Ridge High School, who was with us in the first Secret City Improv Festival. And then we have, at the moment, 3 other high schools that are signed up to be part of the intensives. That is Bearden High School, Farragut High School, and the Hardin Valley Academy. We have room for one more, and we are just waiting on confirmation, as school year has not necessarily gotten underway. And when we presented this out, it was at the end of the school year, so we are just waiting on one more acceptance. Inside of the project itself, we have an intensive experience for the students where they'll be paired with a professional improv teacher who will lead them all through the day. There's going to be a pre-show get-together and a performance block that will see Farragut, Bearden, and Hardin Valley, and then Oak Ridge High School will lead off the 7 p.m. block of the October 1st shows. So we're not just going to have the students going through and learning from a professional improviser. We are going to have those students also present a show on October 1st as part of the festival. We want to celebrate what they have learned. And what's the best way to celebrate when it's in a performance art environment? Do it. How did we get to the Sladen Intensives? After the 2021 festival, we had a discussion with Terry Lloyd, who is the producer of the Oak Ridge High School Maskers, and Richard Paul, who is our co-producer, who's also from the SAC Comedy Lab in Orlando, and they are the ones who really spearheaded in developing this. So in the feedback that was given, the students wanted a different experience from what they saw in 2021. The families wanted to have something that was a bit more of an enriching and wholesome educational experience. The students wanted to really learn and practice and really sink their teeth into the experience. They wanted to have this real active learning experience from the coaches and the instructors, not necessarily lecture. They wanted to really get in and do it. The student experience in the festival needed to be re-scoped. It's really about learning creativity and leadership through the practice of improvisational theater. And then we wanted to also deliver this really high-value educational experience. So we are going to be bringing in a whole quantifiable measurement of the experience for the instructors. Inside of our challenge statements, how might Oak Ridge High School and other students and sponsors experience the joy of learning improvisational theater when other festival attendees have competing preferences of content and taste? And how might Oak Ridge High School and other students interact with improvisational theater in a way that invites challenge and mastery and cultivates imagination, gives meaning, and brings all people to that space where learning is fun, reciprocates value, and fosters creative communities? So what we ended up coming up are these guiding principles. We have this commitment to bring a safe, inspiring, and supportive experiential learning experience. There's no blue humor. It's going to stay very family friendly in the shows and the performance scheduling around when the students would be performing. The key to dynamic learning is double feedback loops. We're going to make sure that these programs are properly staffed with very clarified protocols, and we're going to make sure that we learn by doing. We're going to have a lot of huddles, but no lectures, and we're going to do a lot of good reflection. Inside of this, we have set a whole journey for the students to go from the beginning of the day to the end of the intensive prior to the performance. So we're going to set challenges, we're going to establish expectations, we're going to learn by doing, we're going to embrace yes and thinking, we're going to employ some critical thinking so that they can reflect back and see where they've learned at. We're going to tap into their creative leadership because that is what improv is. It's offering and accepting. Good leaders have to be able to follow and vice versa. There's going to be a lot of very shared and fun, intuitive play because improv is fun. We're going to champion the ensemble and fellowship. So when we are having the students have lunch together, and we'll have the students meeting prior to the show block on October 1st, So the students will be able to fellowship and share and learn from one another. And that's going to create a very wonderful growth mindset. What's the secret inside of our methodology is that we have a structure with a good scaffolding, some competency and pedagogy to go with it, and a very philosophical grounding. So the structure is using Siebert and Drexler's team performance model, and that builds a very defined structure where the team will coexist with individual achievement. We use Chaos Pilot's framework on designing and facilitating a learning space for interdisciplinary approach learning, and that brings theory, practice, and reflection together. The yes and philosophy, that's the philosophy where the students will walk away learning to add and collaborate and accept things as they come, and that will play out in a much deeper context for them over time beyond improv, because adaptation is so important in the work environment and in life in general. We took liberties with Carol Dweck's work, pedagogy, but we did with very good reason. In Dweck's assertion is that when people practice a learning mindset, they become resilient to adversity and resilient to the fear of failure. When students exercise a learning mindset, they use this moment of failure as a learning opportunity, and that enacts a sense of support for themselves and others around them and in their team. They desire to grow no matter what that instance is, and they become very entrepreneurial in their thinking and doing. And we use the 4 keys to fun. Everybody wants to have fun, no matter who they are. So that's part of what we have in our methodology in the intensives and as we developed it. And then we're going to have this. Inside of this, there's also a lot of outcomes that we're going to be able to report and give back to the instructors. We're going to be able to survey the students and kind of measure their engagement, their resilience, and how they learned throughout the intensive. There's going to be a lot of reflective questioning. That way we can chart the student learning through the intensive. We're going to see a lot of analysis and a lot of synthesis. And we're going to have an insight report as a deliverable for the instructors. And then we're going to capture multimedia throughout the day with different video and photos. And what we're doing is we're looking at this in our hypothesis so that we can foster the student's ability to accept feedback and embrace an adaptive learning experience and learning through resiliency. We also are building an immersive engagement through challenge and mastery and creativity and wonder, meaning and salience and social inclusion and cooperative learning. With the Sladen Intensives, this will all take place on the second day of our festival on October 1st. We will showcase the area high schools first at 5 p.m. and then at 7, Oak Ridge High School will lead that set. But both blocks will be rated for general audiences, and all of our attendees, our audiences, and our participants will be implored to follow a general audience rating. Our mission is to produce a world-class improv festival in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, where we can foster creative, collaborative, and empowering events and experiences where we can bring people everywhere together through improvisational theater and the world's most intuitive way to learn, work, and play. So let's spread some good and let's do improv. Thank you for watching. I hope that you will choose to support us in our mission today.